Brian's the only person
in
the history of the ACT to get back-to-back 36s. We're Edison Prep. We're basically a two-person company, myself and, Sylvia and Brian. We created this company a while ago, actually.
Yep, our 8-year birthday was yesterday.
Yes.
So 8 years strong.
Yes. And we from the beginning picked Sandy Springs as the birthplace for this company. For a multitude of reasons, one of which is just so many of our clients come from all the different branches that really circulate around Sandy Springs, and it just seemed like a perfect match for us. Both from private schools and public schools, we pull from basically students all around the area.
And it's pretty unique. Sandy Springs, we basically took a map of all of our private students and that we'd done just in people's houses before, and I just mapped it using a map software, and it was basically like the eye of everything was right here at 285 and 400. And we told our commercial real estate guy, we will judge your success based on how close to 285 and 400 you can get us, because kids coming from Buckhead, down to Abernathy from East Cobb, or over from Chamblee area, etc. Like it's literally you can be on 285, 400, 75, 85, all within 10 minutes of our office, especially since most of our clients come here on the weekends or during lighter traffic periods, like 7 p.m. after soccer practice or whatever. And so it was pretty much the only place we considered looking.
We love the fact that everything is so convenient, like literally everything. So there's shopping that's convenient, there's restaurants that are amazing and right at your fingertips. There's parks everywhere, there's a lot more walkability, and of course for us the biggest factor was the commuting to our office. Like literally the distance between our office and our house is like a mile. So that was a huge benefit for us, because before that we were commuting from really far away. So we're excited about our neighborhood because we just have more space. Everyone's super friendly,
and kids can bike. It's like it's a contained area, so it's not like they're biking along a super highway. So our neighborhood's great.
Yeah, but our proximity to the library. I mean, we haven't really been using that as much, but now that we have kids, we're excited about using that.
And Hammond Park.
Right, exactly. And then of course the City Springs Center with the performances and everything. I mean, we were talking the other day about Jewel, and we were like, oh wow, all these different things that are coming literally right in our area.
And as far as living here, my mom is a high school teacher, and so we wanted to move to an area where we have the option of good public schools.
And Sandy Springs just has a lot of active people in the community, so it's been great to compared to where we were before.
If you look at how many cities in the nation are how many metro areas are growing really fast yet not crazy cost of living, like San Francisco or Chicago or something, it's like us and Dallas and Houston, and that's about it. I mean, so I think that as we have kids and more costs growing up, I think people don't appreciate it's awesome. It's great to be in a city that's growing.
And we're fortunate. I mean, because of our location, we do get to work with an immense number of students each year. Between the two of us, upwards of 1,000 students.
Yeah. So it's two of us, and that sounds crazy. So obviously we have a lot of group classes, and we do some boot camps that are elsewhere, like in Albany, Georgia, and Dublin, Georgia, and other places. But certainly being geographically convenient helps, especially with parents worried about new driver.
Yeah. I mean, mostly what we do is SAT and ACT. We do a little bit of subject tutoring here and there, but we work with mostly juniors, some seniors, a decent number of seniors actually this time of year. Once the spring kicks in, it's pretty much all juniors. But yeah, we love what we do, because for us, standardized tests were key both for getting into great schools and also getting scholarship money. And that's, we both applied to an insane number of schools. I mean, I applied to 18 colleges, you applied to 19, something around there. But with the express purpose of really trying to get scholarship money, and sort of this SAT, ACT portal was the way how we were able to achieve that. So for us, we were immensely grateful, and we try to pay that forward with our kids as well, try to get them into the schools that they want, the programs that they want, the scholarship money that they want. That's really ultimately the goal. Between
the two of us, we were offered about $1.5 million of scholarship money from various schools, and she got in Stanford, I got in Cornell, and Cornell said $0 sounds about right to us. We're like, huh? And then we went to Washington University in St. Louis, which is where we met, and they said,
everything.
How about everything? We can do that. But whether it be getting into better schools or saving a bunch of money or both, everyone likes at least one of those things. And that's the funny part, because a lot of people say, oh, you guys probably had crazy high scores, and we do, but there's a right score for everybody, where it's either the Hope with the Hope Scholarship. When I first got down here, the first student I had who said, "Oh, the Hope Scholarship, as long as I get this, I get full tuition." And I remember just like smiling and being polite, like, "Oh, he's so silly." And then it's just such, and a lot of states are doing it. Georgia has the Hope Scholarship, and then Florida copied us with the Bright Futures, and so it's not only relevant for top scores. It's depending on your school list and your exact stats, everybody can benefit.
For starters, we don't, as far as like freshmen and sophomores, we really, when they call us, the first thing we push for is just focus on your GPA, because that's the number one most important thing.
Sure. We always try to get in front of people as early as possible, not to try and say, hey, let's scoop up some clients, but say your only goal is to get as stratospherically high of a GPA as humanly possible freshman and sophomore year. Sometime late sophomore year, great, come take a full-length mock ACT and SAT so you can see which one you're stronger at, so you can plan out, Camp High Harbor, I play football in the fall, but I have spring open, so you can start planning. But freshman, sophomore year is really all about that.
Yeah. Now, after freshman, sophomore year, then of course coming into junior year, the SAT or ACT is the second most important factor in the college admissions process. So we're talking anywhere from 25 to 35% of the decision is that one test. Couple that with the fact that a lot of students aren't used to doing such a lengthy test, something that's 3-4 hours with extended time, 5-6 hours sometimes. It's a whole different ballgame. It's something that they don't really do in school. So our job, is to kind of come in and help them feel confident in the content, but also confident with test taking in general, because it's some people, they know the material, but just the stress takes over, and they don't focus, they don't perform the same way that they should, and it really isn't representative of what they know.
It's this unique soup of confidence, stamina, timing allocation. Is this problem worth my time or not? Do I bail? Do I throw the ball away and not get sacked? Because for a lot of kids, and oftentimes the higher achieving kids, they're used to doing well in school, so when they run into that first brick wall, they're just like, I must agonize on this one problem forever, and they're not bad at the test, they're just let go. Learning to let when to bail and let go is so much more important than any one random.
Which is hard, because that's not what they're taught in school. In school, it's like, don't let go, figure it out, work on it. That's totally different from what we teach them. The
one saving grace of the SAT and ACT, are they a necessary evil? Sure, because SAT and ACT, they're imperfect. GPA, imperfect. Who gets given AP classes and not at various high schools? Imperfect. The whole college admissions process is just a symphony of slightly imperfect variables, but if they have 20 of them, the odds of making a wrong decision goes way down. And so, for better or for worse, this one test, unlike a grade in school, you can retake as many times as you need. So when kids understand, wait, I can take it again, there's not that worry. It takes away some of the worry, because you can take it again.
And you can hide scores that you don't want colleges to see.
So we are nerds, and so we still take the test each year, and so we're the only tutors in the state, or that we know in the Southeast, that take the test each year. So we nerd out and take it to keep up with shifts in the test. So our book, we actually just sent version 9 of the book to the printer. We have an SAT and ACT book that we had to write, and we revise each year, and we get info from students, info from Reddit, info from the test that we take it. Because if you're really looking at a top score, if you don't have the most current stuff, then it's really hard, because you're just writing off the first couple points. Kids get a kick out of the fact that we take the test, and they, that we're in the trenches doing that. So we do pretty well. So like I said, she beat me last time at 10 points. But SAT, we typically score 1550 to 1600 on the which is out of 1600. And then on the ACT,
Brian's the only person
so in
the history of the ACT to get back to 36s, which is
I've gotten 4 in all, 3 back to back. I don't know that anybody else has ever gotten 2. But that's a point of pride.
I mean, we make a lot of personal connections with our students. We, it's not just like, here, let's focus just on the test, or let's focus just on what you're missing. We relate to them. We hear about their day. We are just as much a testing coach as a personal mentor to some extent. And they look up to us. They see the success that we had with the college admissions process, and a lot of them come to us like, oh yeah, I really want to study biomedical engineering like you, or I really want to go to WashU like you, or I really want to get a PhD, or I really want to do a business program. And so they seek advice from us beyond just the testing arena. And so we enjoy that. And every student's different, so there's a new energy every time a student comes, and there's new things that they're struggling with, and new challenges that we overcome. So it's not it's not monotonous every day. It's a new challenge, and I personally enjoy that a ton.
And it's for me, I hear, I look at the stories. So we'll run into former students, especially when they're back for a break at the movies or at Lennox or something, and just keeping up the stories are great, and knowing that we can change people's, literally their family tree and just the trajectory of where they're going, just because and we're big frugal folks, and like we think that kids don't realize because they're 18 how many options they open up to themselves if they're not saddled with student loans. So even if you're a well-off family, if you have 3 kids, like I don't know anybody who just has random 3 times $200,000 sitting around. So I think the fact that we can help people not have doors closed to them, like, well, I just incurred this much debt, so I really need to go into one of these when I really would prefer to do this. Like we have one kid who I think one of his sisters was partially hard of hearing, and he wanted to do like audiology and speech therapy and that kind of thing. And had he not, he went to UGA and he majored in whatever major in it, and so then he wanted to, I think there's a master's involved with that. And so he commented, he's like, but obviously like I couldn't really do that if I was going to take on, 6 figures of loans going somewhere else or whatever. So that's it's very practical. So I think it's nice to hear that people don't feel forced into an area where they have to do so. Because that's how it was for us. So we worked really hard on these tests, and it's just not it's not as bad as people think.
We enjoy it. We get a kick out of it.
That's good.
The most memorable example was a family who they don't make a lot of money, and their retirement plan consisted of UGA times 3. They have 3 kids in quick succession, and they're not made of money, and so they're like, "Are you sure? Like, shouldn't we just do private tutoring? Because private's better." And I said, "Well, maybe do the class and then a little bit of private, but let's just start off building the foundation inexpensively via a group class." And he's one of the testimonials on our website, and he said, "I didn't calculate the exact amount I spent on tutoring. It was more than I thought it was going to be, but 3 times Auburn versus 3 times Georgia, literally, he actually retired. He retired like 50 something because of that. Because there's $600K you're removing from the process of out of state Auburn or out of state Alabama or out of state George Washington University or whatever. It's a huge, it's a retirement altering deal, and that's the one thing that we tell parents, because one, there's good businesses and bad businesses in every market. One of the things we try to fight against is the all too common tendency of this sales technique of, oh, well, I mean, if you love your kid, private tutoring. Otherwise, group. Right. The key is get an experienced tutor, a full-timer only, full-timer, the end, full stop. And make sure the homework happens. If parents, I always use this every time I have a phone call, I say to parents, if charlesschwab.com had a red button where if you log in, every day you log in, hit a little red button and it adds $1,000 to your account, it'd be a very popular button. If parents simply say, hey, I'm paying for your phone, your car insurance, in this class, I'm checking in twice a week, and there will be if we just have a parent as a partner, the group class is just as effective as private if the homework happens. Homework is the number one differentiator because they all get the same tools in the classroom. So we are the weird tutoring company, the only tutoring company that tells people, now if you're crazy lopsided where you have a top 1% reading and bottom 1% math score, okay, do a lot of one-on-one math tutoring. But most kids on all the sections, they get the easy, they miss the hard, the end. So they could be well served in a group class. So it doesn't have to be expensive. It can be, if parents are a part of the process, it can actually be a lot cheaper than people think. And with college costs going up, we're not that old. We just had kids. Our alma mater is 228% the price that it was when we went there, and we're not old. And so there were a lot of reasons to study for it back when we were in high school. There's way more now. So but it really is one of those rare win-win ROI out there. So like when we have a group class that's not quite going to fill, like paper is not that expensive, it's the right thing to do. So we'll just say, hey, so-and-so, is there a person could really use this but wouldn't speak up and might not be able to afford it? And it's been nice. Like the people at the school clearly didn't just pick a name off of the list and say, here you go. They have sent us people who are just awesome. Like people who they sit in the front, take notes, and with highlighters, and like shake your hand afterwards, or like mom comes in and is like, thank you so much. And so, but clearly that would not, if it were just randomly chosen, here you go, from an administrator who didn't care, like that wouldn't happen. So like they, it's a thankless job that they have.
Well, thank you guys so much for having us out tonight. I really appreciate it.